In today's world of advanced technology, we'll always find some chances to explore the world beyond our own borders. Going on a road trip in a different country, climbing through mountains and rivers, or perhaps watching a beautiful sunset together with your friends. Now, let's team up with our friend Maltese and head to Sydney. And here we are, the Sydney Opera House. But after a long journey, Maltese is feeling a bit hungry. So, let's stop by a nearby convenience store. It looks like there are plenty of tasty and affordable snacks here. But wait, those are all marked with Australian dollars. Maltese suddenly realizes we forgot to bring the local cash. But lucky for us, we've got our smartphones. We can still make payments even without a single coin of local cash in our pockets. But this looks a bit complicated. Maltese also wonders, why can the same thing, like a cup of coffee, can cost different amounts in different countries? Why are there so many types of money around the world? Well, it's all about the different currencies each place uses, and figuring this out can help us understand how the world economy works. So, let's take a close look at this magical system together, the foreign exchange market. Join us as we dive into the world of currencies, explore how exchange rates work, and understand why all of this really matters. Let's start with a simple question. What exactly the Forex market is? The Forex market, short for the foreign exchange market, is the largest and most liquid financial market in the world, with trillions of dollars traded daily. It also can be called the FX market. We use the word exchange because different currencies from around the world are bought and sold for another. Among all these types of money, four currencies are majorly involved in the trading. They are the Japanese yen, the euro, the British pound, and the US dollar. Together, these currencies and others form various currency pairs, like $yen for the US dollar against the Japanese yen, or $euro for the US dollar against the euro. So, how do we know the exact value of these currency pairs? That's where exchange rate comes in. The exchange rate is like a price tag for each currency pair. Imagine Maltese bought a hamburger which costs $5. Then we can say, the price of one hamburger is $5. And that's pretty much how currency trading works too. Think of the hamburger as one currency. Let's say, it's the Australian dollar, and we need to get some Australian dollars using RMB. Normally, it takes around 4 renminbi and 50 cents to buy 1 Australian dollar. So, if Maltese wants to buy a hamburger at the convenience store, she'll need to pay about 23 renminbi. But this doesn't necessarily mean the burger itself has become more expensive. The numbers are different simply because we're measuring the burger's value in different currencies. So, sometimes, it's actually not that easy to conclude whether an item has become more expensive or cheaper. In fact, exchange rates do change constantly over time between each currency pair. In other words, our purchasing power, or how much we can actually buy with our money, is not always the same. To get a clearer picture of these changes, we need to understand two key ideas: the nominal and the real exchange rate. When we talk about exchange rates in general, we're usually referring to the nominal exchange rate. This rate is influenced by many things, like the economic health of each country, interest rate, inflation, and even political stability. But if we want to know whether something really got more expensive or cheaper in a meaningful way, we need to look at the real exchange rate. This rate can tell how much we can actually buy with our money, after accounting for price changes in goods and services over time. Usually, we calculate the real exchange rate by taking the nominal exchange rate and subtracting inflation. Let's bring back our hamburger. For now, the price of the burger going from 5 Australian dollars to 15 Australian dollars. This is the nominal price. Basically, just the price tag goes up. Now, let's take inflation into the account. And our money goes up from 10 Australian dollars to 12 Australian dollars. It seems like we have a bit more to spend. But here's the catch. The burger's price jumped by 10 Australian dollars, so our extra 2 Australian dollars are not enough to keep up. In other words, we can actually buy less than before, even though we have more cash. This is where the real exchange rate comes in. It adjusts for inflation and tells us the real story. Prices are rising faster than our money is. While it looks like we've got more to spend, our money doesn't stretch as far because things are getting more expensive. Then, how do we know it's the right time to buy or sell? That's where bid-offer spread comes in. Let's take out our phones again. Every time we visit the foreign exchange section, we'll actually see two different prices. One for buying, and one for selling. We use the term bid, stands for buying prices, and offer for the selling prices. The offer price is the price we'd get if we want to sell Australian dollars. Let's say right now, 1 Australian dollar can be sold for 5 renminbi. On the other hand, the bid price is the amount we'd pay if we're buying Australian dollars, which might cost Maltese for renminbi for 1 Australian dollars. The difference between these two prices, 5 renminbi and 4 renminbi, is what we call the bid-offer spread. It's like the gap between the buying price and the selling price. This is also how Forex market makes profits. So, eventually, who are the main players in this market? The most common ones are those large banks, multinational companies, and even governments. Since they need to regularly buy and sell goods, services, and even money across borders, these organizations, somehow, have to hold sufficient foreign currencies all the time. But guess what? You and I are also get involved in the Forex market, especially when we exchange money for a trip abroad or buy something from another country online. Time flies. We're already nearing the end of this video. Today, along with Maltese, we explored how the Forex market works, who the main players are, and how people build their wealth through trading. We really hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, there's always more to discover in the fascinating world of finance. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.